Bitcoin breakout continues. Yes, it's continuing as the cryptocurrency approaches 8,000. So what is behind this move? Our Bob Pisani is live at the NYSE with the latest. Hi, Bob.
Hello, Melissa. The Bitcoin sitting at the highest level since the end of May. It's up over 30% since bottoming at 5,700. That was the end of June. Bitcoin bulls are pitting their hopes for more gains on a Bitcoin ETF getting approval by the SEC. Really? A Bitcoin ETF was filed by the CBOE back on June 26 and backed by Van Eck. This is a reapplication, new form of an old one that was rejected last year. It's got some bells and whistles, but it's essentially the old one. Because the SEC typically takes 45 days to make a decision, a lot of people are assuming that we'll get a decision on or before August 15th or so. Now, there's no doubt that a positive verdict would lead to another run-up in Bitcoin. But don't hold your breath on this. I don't think so. I've interviewed both the chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton, and the man in charge of Bitcoin policy at the SEC, and both have made it clear to me they are taking a go-slow approach on the whole Bitcoin ETF thing. Clayton is not going to take the risk of getting hauled in front of Congress on charges he allowed mom and pop to lose money on Bitcoin, at least not in 2018, even if the price of this particular ETF is very high. My guess is that the SEC will not deny the request, but they will extend the comment period. That's the ruling that would cause the least friction and the most likely path here. They will cite their previous security concerns about break-ins and thefts of wallets, along with allegations of manipulation they've stated before. By the way, there's also some very real custodian questions that have not exactly been settled here. But other parts of the Bitcoin juggernaut keep rolling on. Coinbase has formed a political action committee to raise money to spend on U.S. elections. They said that back on Friday night. Back to you, Melissa.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange. So is the Bitcoin rally here to stay? Our crypto baller BK hopes so. He's made his way over to the plaza to give us his latest bull case. Beeks.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely hope so. And I also hope there's an ETF. But I'm with Bob on this. I think the chances of an ETF in 2018 are relatively low. There's still quite a few things. But that doesn't stop speculation on that. And that's one reason why we've seen this bottoming process here from 5,800 all the way up here. Number two, institutions are starting to get serious. I can tell you from the calls that I'm getting, people that looked at it in December, didn't like the price, are coming back now and saying, all right, this thing is not going away. We need to understand what it is. Where does this asset class fit into our portfolio? And this weekend, you saw a report that Coinbase has potentially secured a $20 billion hedge fund for their custody service. So then number three, what are the institutions seeing? Web 3.0 is here. And you ask BK, well, what's Web 3.0? Why do I even care? And how does Bitcoin fit in? Guess what? BK's got a chart for you here. So let's take a look at the next chart here. This outlines the different types of, let me just erase this here. The different types of web. So we had Web 1.0. That was the very beginning. That was basically like a big global library. Everything that were in books got dumped into a giant database we call the Internet. Then we had Web 2.0. Companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, they gave you a global publishing platform. You now could create content and put it into that giant database we call the Internet. And here we are in Web 3.0. And what we're doing is we're moving from a database to a data bank. And what does that mean? The data that is in the Internet is valuable. We found that out. Look at Google's earnings. You think they earned that off of just selling ads? They earned it because there's data there. They're selling data, and they're monetizing it via ads. Web 3.0 is the new Internet, an improved Internet where that data can be monetized. How do you send something of value across an open network like the Internet? With a cryptocurrency. And that is exactly why institutions are starting to get into this. They're seeing how this fits into a portfolio of Web 3.0 stocks.
BK, I totally agree with Web 3.0, but I'm also a trader, and I feel like the reason Bitcoin is higher is because people are more comfortable buying at 7,800 than they are at 6,000, and they'll probably be more comfortable at 10,000.
It's a very reflexive market, very similar to gold, right? The more valuable it becomes, the more valuable it becomes. And that's very true for Bitcoin, for gold, and for other currencies.
So the three reasons why you said this bullish breakout could be different or is here to stay, those are the same three reasons that you could have said 5 months ago or in December. Why are they more real today versus before when Bitcoin was on a decline still?
Well, you know, the madness of crowds is something we try to figure out all the time, but I would suggest that 5 months ago we had some headwinds. Remember, we had multiple different bouts of tax selling. We had Mt. Gox trustee selling. There were a lot of big sellers out there. That appears to be over. And so now you've had this positive news flow. And I talked about it when we were at 5,800. I was shocked that people weren't getting it. And sometimes it just takes the market a little bit to catch up. And here we are. And I don't think it's done.